Veterans benefits by state, we're coming in with a big sleeper, which is Illinois. Kind of surprised how great Illinois' veterans benefits are. I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but here we go. Let's get into property taxes. So Illinois has a returning veterans homestead exemption. So for returning veterans that are coming home, providing service members returning from a deployment, a $5,000 reduction of their home's equalized assessed value is provided. Service members must have served on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces in an armed conflict to be eligible. This exemption is for 2 consecutive tax years, the tax year service member returns from deployment and the following year. Service members should contact their local county assessor's office for more information and learning how to apply. There is also a disabled veteran standard homestead exemption, which provides a reduction in a property's equalized assessed value of a property owned by a veteran who has a service-connected disability. The property's total EAV must be less than $250,000 to be eligible for this exemption. Now remember, that's the EAV, not the appraised value, but the assessed value per the county, per the county assessor's office. The reduction is based on the percentage of the veteran's disability. So $2,500 exemption for a service-connected disability rating of at least 30% but less than 50%, $5,000 for a service-connected disability rating of at least 50% but less than 70%, and there's a total exemption for a service-connected disability rating of 70% or more, which is really incredible because there's not many states that have a 70% full exemption for 70% disabled veterans, but the state of Illinois does. Just to note, this benefit also passes to unremarried surviving spouses of a veteran who received an exemption prior to their death. And furthermore, if the surviving spouse moves to a new home, they are eligible to receive an exemption equal to the amount they received on their previous home. If the veteran died from a service-connected cause and was not receiving a property tax exemption, their unremarried surviving spouse who is receiving disability, dependency, and indemnity compensation is eligible to apply. That's really good information. And then if you are a unremarried surviving spouse of a service member who was killed in the line of duty, you are also exempt from all property taxes on your primary residence. So what are my Illinois military and veteran state tax benefits? There is Illinois income tax, but what does the military pay? So military pay that is included in a service member's federal adjusted gross income, AGI, may be subtracted from their Illinois gross income, including pay received for service in the U.S. Armed Forces, including basic training, pay received by a cadet at a service academy or in a Reserve Officer Training Corps program, pay received for service in the National Guard or the U.S. Armed Forces Reserves. Service members may not subtract the following: military income such as combat pay that was excluded from their adjusted gross income, so you can't double dip that one, pay received under the Voluntary Separation Incentive, the VSI program. Okay, next, let's talk about an Illinois Military Spouse Residency Relief Act. So a resident spouse who has the same state of residency as a non-resident service member who is stationed in Illinois under military orders is exempt from Illinois income taxes on wages earned in Illinois. The non-resident spouse has to pay taxes, if required, to their state of residence. Illinois does not tax military retirement pay, and they also do not tax military disability retirement pay. They also go on to clarify some of the payments which are considered disability benefits include disability compensation and pension payments for disabilities paid to veterans or their families, grants for homes designed for wheelchair living, grants for motor vehicles or veterans who lost their sight or the use of their limbs, or benefits under a dependent care assistance program. Also, SBP, Military Survivor Benefit Plan, Reserve Component Survivor Benefit Plan, RCSBP, and Retired Servicemen's Family Protection Plan, RSFPP, annuities do not get taxed by the state of Illinois. Additionally, DIC, Disability, Dependency, and Indemnity Compensation, is a tax-free monetary benefit paid to eligible survivors of service members who died in the line of duty or eligible survivors of veterans whose death resulted from a service-connected injury or disease. That is also non-taxable pay. If you are a disabled veteran, you have an exemption for specially adapted housing. So Illinois offers a $100,000 reduction in the assessed value of the residence of a total and permanent service-connected disabled veteran who received federal, state, or charitable organization financial assistance to purchase or modify a home to accommodate their disabilities. This exemption is also available for a mobile home owned and used exclusively by a veteran with a disability or their spouse. All right, let's move to education benefits. So there is an Illinois National Guard grant program. The ING grant program will pay tuition and certain fees, registration, graduation, general activity, matriculation, and term fees for undergraduate or graduate study for eligible Illinois National Guard service members. Benefits can only be used at a Illinois 2 or 4-year public college. The amount of benefits a service member can receive is based on the years of service. So if you're less than 10 years of National Guard service, the grant can be used up to the equivalent of four academic years of full-time enrollment. If you're 10 years or more in the Guard service in Illinois, grant can be used for a maximum of the equivalent of 6 academic years of full-time enrollment. Who is eligible for ING currently serving? If you're currently serving in the Illinois National Guard, if you completed 1 full year of service in the Illinois National Guard, if you enrolled at an Illinois public 2 or 4-year college, you're not in default on any student loan, or you don't owe a refund on any state or federal grant, and you maintain satisfactory academic progress as determined by the educational institution. There's also an additional benefit for deceased, disabled, declared missing in action, or prisoner of war Veterans Dependents Education Opportunity Grant. This is for children aged 10 to 18. Illinois offers an annual $250 educational grant to the children of certain veterans. The grant may be used at a state elementary school, middle school, high school, homeschool, or vocational school for educational expenses. So who's eligible? If you're an Illinois resident at time of entry into active duty service in the United States Armed Forces, or within 6 months after entering active duty service, or for at least 15 consecutive years after leaving active duty service. If any of those individuals became deceased, disabled, declared missing in action, or prisoner of war during that period of time. There's also eligibility for Illinois Deceased, Disabled, MIA, or POW Dependent Scholarship. So make sure that you check out that scholarship if you have any children that do qualify in that category. There are additional education benefits. There's actually a lot to go over, and I don't want to confuse you guys. So if you're interested in learning more about these benefits, you can absolutely look for academic credits at Illinois Higher Education or Military Training and Education Program. So if you Google that, you'll find these other programs. Let's talk about employment. So state employment and licenses. Veteran preference for state employment. Under state law, qualified veterans seeking employment with the state are entitled to points added to a passing grade and receive absolute appointment preference within a given grade. Illinois National Guard reserves not activated only receive points added to a passing grade. All veterans will be required to submit a certified copy of their DD-214, DD-215 as proof of service at the time of application. There's also additional education waivers for state police and conservation police, as well as municipal police and firefighters and medical technicians. So if you want more information about the waivers for these individuals, you can visit veterans.illinois.gov, and then you'll go into the jobs, state employment, and licenses section of the website to look for the detailed information. Additionally, there are some Department of Motor Vehicle, military, and veteran benefits. There is a veteran's designation on Illinois driver's licenses and ID cards, which basically serves as your ID card for honorably discharged veterans. This designation can serve as proof of a veteran's eligibility for services and benefits. On top of that, there's also Illinois military and veterans license plates. So you would be able to choose and select one of those. You may have to provide documentation on that, but that is also available to you. And lastly, very last thing, Illinois commercial driver's licenses, even exchange, and military skills waiver test. Service members and veterans who have been discharged within the past 12 months may have some or all of their CDL tests waived due to their military training and experience. So this program is only available to applicants who are applying for their first CDL and not upgrades or restriction changes to an existing CDL. Hopefully you guys found this information valuable. Please reach out, let me know if you have any questions, and I will give you and send you the link if you need the information.